Imagine walking into a massive sports stadium filled with tens of thousands of everyday people. They look completely normal. They're wearing nice clothes, texting on the latest smartphones, chatting about their weekend plans, and laughing with their friends. From the outside, it looks like a picture of absolute prosperity and modern comfort. But if a giant screen overhead suddenly displayed the real, uncensored financial data of every single person in that stadium, the atmosphere would change instantly. The collective illusion of wealth would vanish, replaced by a staggering reality of stress, debt, and survival. We live in a society that is incredibly skilled at projecting an image of affluence while masking a profound financial fragility underneath. We are taught from a young age to look at material possessions as the ultimate scorecard of success. If someone drives a luxury vehicle, lives in a pristine neighborhood, and regularly shares pictures from tropical resorts, we naturally assume they have figured it all out. We think they must have a massive cushion of security waiting for them in the bank. But the raw data tells a completely different and frankly terrifying story. The statistics surrounding the average person's finances aren't just mildly surprising, they are a stark wake-up call about the hidden cost of trying to maintain a normal lifestyle in the modern world. When you actually look at the numbers, you realize that what we consider normal is actually a state of quiet, ongoing financial desperation. Let us start with one of the most widely reported yet consistently shocking statistics of our time. Year after year, major economic studies reveal that nearly half of the population cannot comfortably cover a sudden $400 unexpected expense using their actual cash savings. Take a moment to really let that sink in. $400 is not a catastrophic life event. It's a set of new tires because you ran over a nail. It's an unexpected trip to the urgent care clinic for a sprained ankle. It's a broken refrigerator or a laptop screen that suddenly cracks. For millions of people, these completely routine, minor inconveniences are not just annoying, they're immediate threats to their financial survival. If one of these events happens today, the average person does not pull out a debit card linked to a healthy savings account. Instead, they reach for a credit card, borrow from family, or scramble to figure out which bill they can delay paying this month. They're effectively living exactly one flat tire away from a major crisis. This reality creates a constant, low-grade psychological stress that shadows almost every single choice a person makes. When you're operating with absolutely no margin for error, the world becomes an incredibly hostile place. Every blinking light on your car dashboard feels like a ticking bomb. Every email from your landlord fills you with anxiety. Every invitation to a friend's wedding or birthday dinner becomes a source of dread because you're mentally calculating how that $75 expense will completely derail your budget for the next 3 weeks. This is the invisible tax of being financially average. It drains your mental energy, ruins your sleep, and forces you to play defense with your life instead of being able to make proactive, confident choices about your future. So how did we get here? Why is the average person constantly running on a financial treadmill that seems to speed up every single year? To find the answer, we have to look at where the money goes before it even has a chance to sit in a savings account. And the biggest culprit for most households is sitting right out there in the driveway. The statistics surrounding modern car payments are absolutely mind-blowing. The average monthly payment for a brand new vehicle has climbed well past $700. Even for a used car, the average payment is frequently over $500 a month, and that is before you factor in the skyrocketing costs of auto insurance, fuel, and routine maintenance. We have collectively normalized the idea that as soon as you enter the workforce, you should immediately sign away a massive portion of your income for the next 6 or 7 years just to drive a machine that depreciates the moment you leave the dealership. The average person spends the entire first week of every single month working solely to pay for the vehicle that transports them to the job in the first place. It is a closed, exhausting loop of working to pay for a car and needing a car to get to work. But the car payment is just the tip of the iceberg. The real engine driving this cycle of financial fragility is the credit card trap. Right now, the average household carries thousands of dollars in revolving credit card debt. But the truly devastating part of this statistic isn't just the balance itself. It is the brutal reality of compounding interest. With average credit card interest rates hovering around 21%, carrying a balance means paying an enormous premium for things you bought months or even years ago. When you buy a television, a vacation, or even just groceries on a credit card and fail to pay it off at the end of the month, you are essentially agreeing to pay double or triple the original price over time. You are using tomorrow's hard-earned money to pay for yesterday's temporary desires. This creates a powerful form of cognitive dissonance. People feel like they are working harder than ever, earning higher salaries than ever before, yet they have less money to show for it. And they're completely right. They are paying a massive, silent tax to major banking institutions just to sustain the illusion of an average lifestyle. Now, it is incredibly easy to look at these statistics and assume this is strictly an income problem. We like to tell ourselves a comforting lie. We think if I could just get a 20% raise, or if I could finally land that job making 6 figures, all of my financial anxiety would instantly evaporate. But the data completely shatters this assumption. Studies consistently show that a staggering percentage of people earning over $100,000 a year still report living paycheck to paycheck. Let that truly register. Individuals who are objectively in the upper tiers of global income are running out of money before the end of the month. This proves that our collective financial crisis is not just about how much money we make, it is deeply rooted in our behavior and our culture. It is driven by a psychological phenomenon known as lifestyle creep. As income rises, expectations and lifestyle choices expand to consume every single new dollar. The reliable sedan is traded for a luxury vehicle. The modest apartment is exchanged for a massive house with a heavy mortgage. The casual home-cooked meals are replaced by frequent, expensive dining experiences. The mathematical equation remains exactly the same, just with extra zeros at the end. These high earners are still just one missed paycheck away from complete disaster. They just happen to have much nicer things in their garage while they panic. This pattern of behavior doesn't just impact day-to-day life, it has a devastating compounding effect on the future. When you look at the retirement statistics for the average person, the numbers become even more sobering. A massive portion of the population is approaching their 50s and 60s with less than $20,000 saved for their later years. The average retirement account balance for someone nearing the end of their career is shockingly low, often barely enough to sustain a couple of years of basic living expenses. Most people are reaching the final chapters of their working lives with the sudden, painful realization that they simply cannot afford to stop working. They're trapped in the workforce not out of passion or fulfillment, but out of sheer necessity. This is the natural, inevitable conclusion of a lifetime spent prioritizing immediate gratification and social approval over long-term stability and peace of mind. When you add up all the interest the average person will pay over the course of their working lifetime across mortgages, student loans, car loans, and credit cards, the final number is genuinely breathtaking. The average consumer will hand over hundreds of thousands of dollars purely in interest payments during their lifetime. That is money that completely disappears into the ether. It does not build home equity, it does not buy goods, it does not fund a comfortable retirement, and it certainly does not provide security. It is simply the heavy financial penalty for impatience. It is the price we pay for demanding things right now rather than waiting until we can actually afford them. When you realize that the average person gives up multiple years of their entire career just to fund the profit margins of financial institutions, the traditional path of modern consumerism starts to look less like a dream and more like a carefully designed trap. Why do so many smart, capable people willingly fall into these exact statistical traps? It is because human beings are deeply social creatures wired for status, comparison, and conformity. We look around at what our neighbors, our coworkers, and our friends are doing, and we subconsciously assume that their behavior must be safe and normal. If everyone we know has a massive car payment, we assume that is just what you do. If everyone is carrying a little bit of credit card debt to fund their vacations, we assume it is harmless. But the hard data proves that normal is broke. Normal is stressed. Normal is lying awake at 3 in the morning wondering how you are going to cover your child's expenses, pay for an unexpected medical bill, or handle a sudden layoff. To break away from becoming another statistic, you have to be entirely willing to look strange to the average person. You have to become comfortable with driving the older, paid-off car. You have to be okay with living in a smaller, less impressive space. You have to build up the confidence to say no to social events or luxury purchases that do not align with your true financial security. When you stop playing the exhausting game of trying to look rich, you finally unlock the resources required to actually build real wealth.